that Caitlin Clark wouldn't play until right before. This is a preseason game where Clark is not available, and yet...
Did you catch that moment when rookie Kiki Iriafen sent Sophie Cunningham crashing to the floor? The Mystics thought they could push around the Indiana Fever just because Caitlin Clark wasn't on the floor, but Sophie wasn't about to let that slide. She popped right back up, stared Kiki down, and said the words that echoed through the gym. "You don't pull that here." And while Kiki smiled like it was a joke, Sophie responded the only way a real vet does. She dropped 21 points and helped bury the Mystics in a commanding Fever win.
Sophie Cunningham has been an absolute beast in this game. 34 minutes, 6 of 11 from the field, 54%, 21 points.
But the fireworks didn't stop when the game clock hit 0. Tensions kept rising well after the final whistle, and what followed? Let's just say, nobody saw it coming. But before we go there, let's rewind to the spark that set this whole thing off. Because Kiki didn't just commit a foul, she shoved Sophie with intent. A hard, unnecessary throwdown. And let's not forget, this was a rookie doing it to a well-established player in a preseason game.
But in the middle of the game, Sophie Cunningham, oh, spicy old Sophie Cunningham, she gets in a tussle over a rebound with Kiki Iriafen, the rookie from USC, who is now...
There wasn't even a basketball move involved. It was all about sending a message, an intimidation stunt from a newcomer trying to prove something in the wrong way against someone who's more than earned her place in this league.
And she is not having any of it. And she basically gives her welcome to the league talk, saying, "You don't bleeping do that. You don't bleeping do that."
But Sophie didn't flinch. She didn't stay on the floor. She didn't complain. She stood right up, walked directly to Kiki and let her know, "We're not going to let this slide." That moment was more than just a personal stand. It was the shift that flipped the entire game on its head. It lit a fire in the Fever that couldn't be put out.
Of the game.
Right there, you can see Sophie telling her after that flagrant, "You don't mother effing do that. You don't mother effing do that."
And Sophie wasn't the only one who stood up. Veteran Dana Bonner stepped in too, going straight to Brittany Sykes to make one thing clear. Indiana wasn't going to let their players get bullied. It showed something powerful: unity. The Fever weren't just playing like teammates, they were standing together like a family. Meanwhile, the Mystics bench sat smug and confident, acting like they had already won. With Caitlin Clark out, they thought they could break the Fever's spirit.
Player.
And that's Kiki Iriafen, and I got to tell you, here we go with the smiling like you've done. I don't get it. This is the worst part of the WNBA. It is. A ton of reaction. The smiles afterward, let's get negative. It's crazy. Look at this comment. "She's not fazed one bit by that spray tan MAGA bitch." Here we go. Need Kiki to whack her again. Guys, it's where we're at. I mean, what are we doing?
But fans watching, they weren't having it. Social media lit up like wildfire. Viewers across the country called out the Mystics for going too far. Cheap shots, uncalled for aggression, and no respect for the game's code. Especially from a rookie who hadn't earned her stripes yet.
And the retards, as I like to call them, the RAHTARDS's, they are already now attacking Sophie Cunningham. Oh, they're mad. The MAGA Barbies got them angry. They're cheering on violence against this basketball player.
Because this wasn't physical basketball. This was disrespect wrapped in a jersey. Sophie's immediate stand reminded everyone why she's respected league-wide. She didn't just talk back, she backed it up with action, poise, and pure hustle. She flipped the script on the Mystics and turned a moment of disrespect into motivation that powered the entire Fever squad.
We're right back where we were last year, folks. The season just started, and I mean, I guess we're going to have wars again. I mean, seriously, this league it's really crazy.
Now
let's break down how the game actually played out, because early on things looked rough for Indiana.
Because let me tell you, the Fever were kicking off the dust in the first quarter, giving everybody a lot of grace here. There was a lot of missed layups. There was a lot of bricking, and the defense wasn't really that great.
Without Caitlin Clark, the Fever looked like a shell of themselves. They trailed 24-13, and their defense was in pieces. The Mystics ran wild, and at one point, it felt like the game was already out of reach.
But listen, the Mystics had a ton of picks. In the WNBA draft, they got a lot of high picks. They got Kiki Iriafen, they got Sonia Citron. She started today, Sonia Citron, and Sonia Citron looked good. And honestly, Brittany Sykes looked really great too.
The Mystics were stacked. Sutton directing the offense, Sykes creating chaos, and of course Kiki, now known for more than just hustle. They came out with confidence, and when they saw Clark wasn't playing, their swagger said it all. This one's already in the bag. They were practically celebrating before tip-off.
They started out with Sid Colson running the point, and that really wasn't working out. I mean, Steph White was like, she kept putting Sid in too, and at a certain point in like the third quarter, I was wondering like, is she going to try out any of the rookies? Because Sid was definitely not making a difference pretty much whatsoever to the Indiana Fever.
Sydney Colson.
The Fever, meanwhile, started Sydney Colson, but nothing was working. The offense looked scrambled. Errant passes, missed rotations, bad timing. Washington took full advantage, forcing turnovers, running fast breaks, and stretching the lead as Indiana lost control.
To the wayside. Enter Sophie Cunningham. She was the lead scorer of the entire game for both teams, coming away with 21 points and 8 rebounds. And I gotta say, it is so evident when Caitlin Clark is not on the court for the Indiana Fever. She is such a floor general. She is the X factor for the Indiana Fever. She like leads the way when they don't have her. I've said this before, but the Indiana Fever look like a train without a conductor.
But then Sophie Cunningham entered the game, and everything changed. The mood inside the building shifted. You could see it in Sophie's eyes, locked in, laser focused. That hit she took didn't knock her down, it charged her up. She walked in like someone with something to prove, not just for herself, but for her entire team. From that moment forward, the Fever played with pride, purpose, and unity. This wasn't just a basketball game anymore. It was personal.